Tension is building in Virginia Beach after the prosecutor decides not to charge the cop who shot and killed Donovon Lynch in the town. The city's prosecutors say that Officer Solomon Simmons was justified in protecting himself and others in the late March shooting. They said Lynch raked around into his handgun's chamber and pointed his weapon toward a parking lot filled with multiple people and police. Joining me now is Wayne Lynch, Donovan's father, Lauren Lynch, Donovan's sister, attorney Jennifer Carol Foy, and Minister Gary McCollum. So I'd like to start with the attorney. Thoughts around what's happening here with regards to the decision not to file charges legally. Can you explain to us what the justification for that really was?
Yes, and thank you for having me. So as a family friend and someone who's working with the family in order to bring more attention to this issue, they're trying to say that this was a justifiable shooting. But what we know is that the facts don't add up, or the information that was provided is insufficient, and there are so many holes that you can cast a net and catch many things in it. At the end of the day, we know that Donovan committed no crime. We know that he's a registered gun owner. We know that, he was a college graduate in Virginia Beach having fun with his friends and ended up not coming home that evening because he was shot and killed by a law enforcement officer in uniform during his duty. Those are the things that we know, and that's a problem because there are many questions that still have not been answered.
Absolutely, questions that have not been answered, and right now it doesn't look like we're going to get answers. Mr. Lynch, my condolences to you. This is the worst nightmare of any parent, is to lose your child, and to especially lose him under such tragic and unnecessary means that it looks like now you won't get any sense of justice for the closure, if there can be any closure after something like this. Can you tell us literally what you are feeling at this moment that you're hearing that your child's murderer won't face any sort of justice moment related to this?
Well, first of all, thank you for having us. All praises to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. My family has been devastated by this tragic event. We know that Donovan was a young man that we loved and cared about, who also loved and cared about his community. He was a business owner. He was a college graduate. And now we want to have justice for Donovan. What I've done to keep Donovan's character and memory alive is start a foundation called the Donovan Wayne Lynch Foundation. And that foundation will shed light on issues in our community. What we've done along with Jennifer and Bobby Scott, Senator Scott, we've also initiated a DOJ investigation. We want the DOJ to have an independent investigation into exactly what happened with Donovan.
I love that, because it sounds like to me you will never give up fighting for justice for your son. No. Lauren, your dad said something that really struck me. He's not only fighting for justice, he's fighting to protect the character of his son. I would love to get your perspectives. If you could just describe to us the human being that your brother was.
My brother was very fun. He was very caring and very loving. He was very protective over me. He always made sure as his little sister that I was well taken care of. And he did everything he could to make sure that our family was taken care of, and even his friends and people in the community. He was somebody that if you were having a down day that you could give a phone call, and once that call was over, you can guarantee that your day just got a little bit better.
That is so beautiful. It sounds like the type of, I don't have any brothers, but it sounds like the type of brother I always wanted when I was growing up. Minister McCollum, your thoughts. I know that you've probably been a rock for this family. Can you talk to us a little bit about what they're going through right now? And also, I would argue what the community is going through, because it's got to be jarring for an entire community to have a rising young man like that just literally cut down in the prime of his life for no good reason.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And as Wayne said, and his daughter, this was a good man. Donovan was a good young man. And the thing that we hear and the thing that makes us, I think, get so persistent about trying to get justice for Donovan is that you have young people in this community, frankly, who said, if this can happen to Donovan, this can happen to anybody. So the things that Wayne talked about, the creation of the foundation, creating a law so that we have true and independent citizens review boards to investigate police practices like this or incidents like this. That's what we need. And so we're pressing for those, as Wayne said, getting this the federal Justice Department to investigate this, because what we've seen here is police investigating the police. And that's not independent, and it's not giving us a citizen's review over what happened on that March night.
That is so important, because when it sounds to me like, when you have the fox guarding the hen house, what really can you expect? Attorney Foy, I would love to get your thoughts on the prospects of actually having some of these things that the family is pushing for come to pass, like a DOJ investigation, like a Citizens Review Board, like new legislation to hopefully make it more difficult for a tragedy like this to happen in the future. Your thoughts around the viability of some of these ideas and what we can do in order to put the pressure on so that they actually come to pass.
Absolutely. The thing that we can do is continue to make sure that we're saying his name, Donovan Lynch, that we are activating and agitating for change. And that means contacting, the DOJ, Department of Justice, and saying that there should be an independent investigation in this case. There's an officer-related shooting. You have, as Minister McCollum said, police investigating the police, and we know that we need to do better. We can do better. We saw what happened in the Ahmaud Arbery case, and that the prosecutor initially said there was no probable cause there. But because of national outrage and outreach, those 3 people who were responsible for his death have been brought to justice and convicted of murder. And the prosecutor is going to be held accountable as well. So we know oftentimes the system doesn't work the way it should, and that's where we have to step in and say enough is enough. Now is our time to ensure we have true transparency and accountability in the system. And thanks to Congressman Bobby Scott and so many others who are demanding an independent investigation from the Department of Justice, let's unify our voices and uplift this family in a real way. Let's make sure we contribute to the foundation. Let's also push here in Virginia to have mandatory civilian review boards for any jurisdiction with over 100,000 people in population, so we can have people actually being held accountable. These are public employees with taxpayer money, and we want no more deaths, because we know that Donovan Lynch did not commit a crime. He did not shoot a shot, and he should not have been shot down. So this is what we're talking about. We really want to make sure that we're holding people accountable and we get answers to the questions. And that's where civilian review boards come in, because they have investigative powers. They can subpoena documents, they can interview witnesses, and they can delve out consequences as well. So while I'm excited to have been a part of the legislation that was initially passed in the General Assembly to establish civilian review boards, the Donovan Lynch bill will make it stronger by making it mandatory and also ensuring that we don't, pack the civilian review boards with former law enforcement officers, that we make sure it is the people, the taxpayer, who have a say, who's reviewing the evidence, and who's able to delve out consequences and bring real transparency and accountability to the system.
Thank you there. Mr. Lynch, coming back to you one more time, can you tell me a little bit more about how the community around you has been impacted, like what's going on in the community right now, and tell us a little bit more about what you are doing. I noticed that you're holding something. You might want to tell us the significance of the piece that you're displaying there.
Yes, this is an award Donovan received posthumously from his University of Virginia at Wise. It's a prestigious award called the TPS Ellison Award, and it's given to a young man or in the community that's doing great things in his community, also in the community where he served and went to college and played football. Donovan was a tremendous athlete. He played both football and basketball, and he was very good at both. But he went to college to play football. But the basketball was first love. I need Stephen A. to holler at me. But Donovan was a great young man. He was a father's dream. We want to make sure his legacy continues. Donovan was a young man who always looked to help others. He always had a positive word for others. He was always kind and caring. So we want to make sure that Donovan's name is strong in the community like it was previously. He did nothing wrong, and we want to vindicate Donovan. Justice for Donovan.
Yes.
I hear you. Quickly, I just want to bring in the panel if you happen to have any questions. Dr. Malveaux, I'll start with you. Any questions for the Donovan family, their pastor, or their legal representative?
Well, first of all, absolutely my heartfelt condolences. This is a horrible situation. It happens again and again and again around our country. But I feel for you, and I hope you'll accept my condolences and my prayers. Now, my question, in terms of the award and the role that Donovan played in the community and the way that you're attempting to basically say his name, what can the larger community do to lift up Donovan Lynch?
Well, we have a foundation called the Donovan Lynch Foundation for Social and Economic Justice. It has an outline of Donovan's law. It has an outline of the CRB that was just instituted in the city of Virginia Beach, which is a milestone. It also has information on how you can make contributions and donations to the foundation so we can continue to work in the community that we started. Donovan's main thing before he left this earth was he wanted to change the world. That's literally what we're going to do. We want to change the world. We want to make sure that no other young men or women in Virginia or anywhere else is killed by police brutality for no reason.
Powerful, powerful thing. Yes.
That I would say to anyone listening to this, don't be silent. Dr. King said it best. Our days begin to end the day that we become silent about things that matter. And the lives of young people like Donovan, they matter. Changing this system in terms of providing police accountability, those are really important issues and they matter. So being silent is not an option.
I would also urge the community to follow us on our social media, especially our Instagram, Justice4 Donovan Lynch, DONOVONLYNCH. So that way you can stay up to date on what we're doing in the community and also about things involving Donovan.
Love it. And Dr. Omid Congo, any questions?
Yes. First of all, I would like to also offer my condolences, and I wanted to bring it back to the police. And I'm wondering, are they basically acting like this is case closed, get out of our face, or are they doing any type of work to be part of the healing process in the community?
Well, it's still an ongoing investigation. What we had take place previously was an investigation by the Commonwealth of Virginia and the grand jury finding, but that does not eliminate the case. The case is still ongoing. It's still being investigated, still being witnesses interviewed. So we're still pursuing justice in that regard.
Absolutely. And it's my belief that you will continue to pursue justice. This seems like the type of family that will never give up. On behalf of us all, you inspire us. And for those of us who have children and at home, hug them a little harder, and also go and support this family who's missing a key part of what makes their hearts whole. So thank you all so much for joining us tonight.
And just one other thing before you go, I have some young community organizers that have been with me from the start. I would be remiss if I can't get them on camera right quick. These kids have been with me the whole time. Cameron Beltran and Angela Horton. They have literally been with me every step of the way. They are Donovan's friends, but they're also community activists and organizers in the Hampton Road. Cam is the founding CEO of VIP Violence Intervention Prevention LLC. You can go to his website also and see him on Instagram. And Ms. Horton is also a community activist with the Underground 1865 is her organization. So go online and look these young people up. They're doing a marvelous job helping myself and my daughter in our community. Because it could have went another way if we had not had the foresight to have people in place that knew what to do.
Indeed. And also, thank you for taking the time to introduce these powerful young people to us, because as you're right, they need to be acknowledged for the work that they're doing to make sure that your son's name lives on. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. God bless you.
You too.
All right, folks, back to our road mark unfiltered video in just one moment.
Once upon a time, there lived a princess with really long hair who was waiting for a prince to come save her. But really, who has time for that?
Let's go. Feeling myself. I'm feeling
She ordered herself a ladder with Prime one-day delivery, and she was out of there.
I want some hood girls looking back at it and a good girl in my tax bracket.
Now, her hairdressing empire is killing it. And the prince, well, who cares? Prime changes everything.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punches! I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?